Staci Haralson Barretta is no stranger to hard work. Her father's a coach, and she uses the mantra, "We got grit," for her students at Big Cypress Elementary. At Big Cypress Elementary, a teacher is changing how her students take charge of their own learning. Staci Baretta's third grade class is learning more than the basics. They're learning to embrace challenges through perseverance and grit with her best practice of fixed versus growth mindset.
What does your right side of your brain control?
Artsy.
The artsy side. And the left side?
School.
Is your school side. What do we call the part of the brain that connects the left and the right side? Good, corpus callosum. My best practice was called We Got Grit, and it's based on the research done by Carol Dweck, who was a Stanford University psychologist, and she researched for 30 years this subject. She believed that when people are faced with a challenge or a difficult task, that they either have a fixed mindset or they have a growth mindset. A person with fixed mindset believes that their abilities, their talents, their intelligence is a fixed trait, that it's not ever going to increase, and they define themselves by their failures. But a growth mindset, a person will believe that they are able to grow their intelligence, their abilities, their talents, and they see failures as just merely a setback.
I enjoy her class because the centers and rotations we have, and all the growth mindset that we have around the whole door everywhere. In centers, we would have a teacher table, computer, Miss Papora, and the library carpet. At Mrs. Barretta's, we would bring our iReady notebook, and then we would work on our iReady notebook. And then at the computers,
one of the main things with my granddaughter is my granddaughter's visually impaired, and she has learned to read, whereas we never thought she would be able to. Using the equipment that Ms. Barretta has worked with to get her the equipment that she can use to learn. And she has learned to read, she has learned to do everything that every other child can do that is sighted. And we didn't think that she would ever totally be able to do that. And the patience and the love, Ms. Barretta is 100% pure love for every child in her class. And it's the love and the compassion she shows for every child that gives them the lack of fear to keep going.
By impacting students' beliefs about themselves and others, this teacher is unleashing her students' academic power by helping them to tackle challenges with specific strategies. They openly take risks, participate in class, and understand that mistakes are normal when people try hard things.
I think it's important to thank and recognize teachers when they do something so phenomenal and make such a big difference for their students.
She was a very kind and nice teacher, and she'd been teaching for many years, and she deserved that golden apple because she has done good things for the students she teaches, and she teaches us to never give up, attitude that we can never say no to, because it's just so kind of her to do that for us.
It's the smile that you get. It's that a year later they might come up to you and say, "Do you remember this?" It's the smallest things that make a difference in the life of a child.
Believing that every child can grow and improve on talents, skills, and abilities through hard work and effort is the key to success in this classroom. Teaching grit helps prepare students for the future and to become better leaders.
If you combine my years total teaching with my mother and my father's years of service, we've served Collier County Public Schools for 88 years. Being recognized with a golden apple has meant a lot to me. It's a wonderful feeling.
morning. My name is Jasmine West, and I am in 3rd grade at Big Cypress Elementary. Most students only have a teacher for 1 year. I have been lucky enough to be in Mrs. Barretta's class for the last 3 years. She tells us a joke every day. We learn our multiplication facts by singing songs. We get to read on scoop rockers and sit on wobbly stools. We have bouncy bands on our chairs. She teaches us to use our grit and try hard things. So I did. I ran 1 mile at the CCPS final mile. Mrs. Barretta came to watch me. Please help me introduce my amazing teacher, Mrs. Barretta.
So carry on into the quiet, I'm bound, what you have lost.
Ladies and gentlemen, Staci Haralson Barretta is escorted to the stage by Michael J. Adams of Adams Foods, McDonald's, and Janet Perna of Perna Rose Foundation for Hope. Staci Haralson Barretta.
So as you heard, both my parents were educators. As a very young and very impressionable child, I truly believed that they were famous. Everywhere we went in town, people knew my parents. To this day, it is inevitable for us to be out and a former student will approach one of them and ask, "Do you remember me?" Now that I've been teaching for a while, I witness how a teacher's influence on the lives of others is eternal. Aristotle wrote, "Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all." I pray that I make a difference to every child that I encounter. It doesn't matter how small the act is, as long as the students know I did it with great love. What is it that I want my students to remember about me? I know they're going to forget what I taught them, but I hope they never forget how I made them feel.